Hi guys. So the ASEAN India 25th commemorative summit has taken place yesterday, and for the first time, our Republic Day, January 26th, had more than one chief guest. All the 10 leaders of the ASEAN countries graced the occasion. Thus itself, it's a momentous, you can say, even a foreign policy coup by the Indian diplomats. And added to that, the bonhomie with the ASEAN leaders. Uh, a lot of personal attention was made. The Prime Minister invested a lot of time in spending quality time with the ASEAN leaders. So, as a established rapport, already he has a good rapport with many of the leaders, and it now went beyond that and became he played the perfect host. And of course, Delhi Declaration was issued. Uh, இங்கே வாயேன்ப்பா Often. So the Delhi Declaration was made. Uh, on the outset, it looks very rosy, but scratch the surface, and you'll see that things are not as smooth as we would like to. Of course, everybody likes to be treated and feted and all those things, etc. But ultimately, the diplomacy goes beyond personal rapport, hugs, looking into the minute details, and making people comfortable, etc. This should be done. I'm not saying it should not be done, but we should go beyond mere symbolisms. The ASEAN-India relationship has been hampered mainly because of India's inability to connect with ASEAN. We connect means physical connectivity. India enjoys a very good reputation, respect and love in Southeast Asia because Indian culture pervades Southeast Asia. I always used to say that the Southeast Asian people may be more close to China racially, but they are more close to India culturally. The cultural closeness has been snapped during colonial rule, with Southeast Asia coming mostly under Dutch and French rule, and India under British rule, who prevented the normal trade and cultural relations. But the bonds are very, very strong, and still they are. But ultimately, that boils down to how much benefit each will get by this relationship. So India is not able to complete many projects like the trilateral highway has been pending for such a long time, and we need to extend it to Vietnam. We need to build railway connectivity. For a neighboring country like Myanmar, still India do not have air connectivity. So the people to people relations, cultural relations, tourist relations are not as strong as it should be. And more importantly, India has been delaying the regional comprehensive economic partnership. A lot of MOPs, 10 MOUs have been signed during the recent meet, but there is hardly anything on the most important thing, which is dragging for years. ASEAN leaders, ASEAN negotiators have directly blamed India last year that because of India, the regional comprehensive economic partnership is delayed. As our Prime Minister spoke in Davos, if India wants to take the leader of the free world to be promoting free trade, what best move rather than to fast track the regional FTA with ASEAN, in which also other countries like Australia, New Zealand, China, Japan, Korea are also involved in it. So it's a great pathbreaker if India takes the lead rather than being seen by most of the countries as a laggard, somebody like putting a spoke in the talks, who want too much of concessions, etc. Of course, when I say that India should take lead, I am not saying that India should compromise on its core thing, particularly protecting the interests of the farmers and SME sector, etc. But the diplomacy is not merely inviting people and making them comfortable, making them being fettered out and all that. Diplomacy is all about finding a solution to the problems. How we can fulfill our objective of protecting the farmers, but at the same time be the leader in promoting free trade. That is what creative diplomacy is all about. This is where we lag behind that. So we think that it is everything is fine if you have a nice photo op and everybody hugs each other, and no, it is not that. China does that. China builds infrastructure. China is already doing projects like Kunming, Singapore, high-speed railway corridor, Nanning, Singapore railway corridor, which will cover all the landlocked, all the land-based countries of Southeast Asia there. China gets the advantage. China does, and India talks. So this is what I have been always being saying, that if we talk less, if we focus less on symbolism, I think we can achieve a lot. We can, lot of doables are there. India can never in the coming years can match China's infrastructure building spree. That is not our speciality. But at least what we can do, it is what is possible with us. So India should complete the Kaladan project as early as possible. Collaborate with countries like Thailand and Singapore, which are very close to us. So there's a huge potential. The Southeast Asian countries want India to rise peacefully and act as a counterweight to the China. But the Southeast Asian people are very hard-nosed professionals. They want India to do something there, rather than meaning focusing too much on symbolisms. So we cannot and should not rest on this. There is a lot to go in India-ASEAN relations. There's a huge potential, and it's the first step. As I told in the last thing, India's potential greatness lie in thinking like a great power, and doing something to project the power. That is by taking the initiative and not merely falling back on symbolism. Okay, guys, bye. Take care.